Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Michael Glaser.
Terrific.
You like that?
What a lovely set.
Yes, it is. It's very special. They did it just for me.
And the chair is comfortable. I was watching from the green room and I kept saying to myself, couch or the chair, I'm going to sink. Did you ever have that problem?
And, when Daryl and I were on talk shows, sure. We always worried about that. Daryl usually ended up like this by the time the show was over. Tell me a little more about the movie we just saw. Now, you are a psychiatrist who is trying out a new theory but you're using prisoners as guinea pigs, is that it?
Well, it's such a radical treatment for phobics.
What type of a treatment is it?
Well, basically what it is you expose a phobia. You know, if a person has a phobia...
Well, like a fear of spiders or a fear of heights or something,
Basically, a phobia is a fear that is felt to such an extreme that it renders you unable to function.
Right.
And so the basis of the treatment is to expose a phobic through rear screen projections and other stimuli to, I hear a camera snaking.
Don't worry about it.
It's a little phobia I have about cameras. Exposing that person to their particular phobia to the point where they're going to break. And then stopping just short of that and kind of talking them down, relaxing them, and then upping the stakes a little higher and a little higher.
I saw a publicity shot of you with a snake in your hand in front of some guy.
That's right. I had a great time with that snake.
You did?
Yeah, I had a great time because, you know, on a movie set, you do an awful lot of sitting around and waiting.
Yes.
And then as the time comes up to do the shot, you start getting second-guessing it, and you start getting a little preoccupied, maybe a little nervous, maybe a little bored, maybe a little tired. And I had this snake. And the trainer used to come over. They've trained us for everything in films. You know, they have trainers for bees. They have trainers for butterflies. They have trainers for everything. And I had the snake trainer. And the snake trainer came over and said, you want me to take the snakes? No way. I'm having a great time. And I used to sit there with the snake and let him walk, or whatever they do, crawl, slither, all over. And he just calmed me down.
He calmed you down?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're called animals.
Yeah. What kind of a snake? Well, I mean, it wasn't anything poisonous.
It was a gopher snake.
Oh, just a gopher snake.
And he was about that long.
Uh-huh.
And he was friendly. He was real friendly. And then we had a rattlesnake on the set, which it's a funny story. It wasn't funny to the camera operators, though. John Huston, who was our director.
He's your director.
He has done, I don't know how many adventure films. And he's a man who loves danger and toying with danger. And he's quite an extraordinary person. And we had this shot to do of this rattlesnake. So the snake trainer brought in a rattlesnake. And here's this rattlesnake sitting there on the stage, doing its number. And the snake trainer was prodding it with its prod, and getting it more and more angry. And John is standing there behind the camera. I'm standing next to John, and we're just kind of talking about other things. And the camera's rolling, and John says, bring the snake a little closer. And so they bring the snake a little closer. Now it's about 20 feet away from the camera, and the film's running. And John and I are talking about baseball, I think it was. We're talking about baseball, and the camera's rolling, and he says, excuse me. He says, bring the snake a little bit closer. And he keeps bringing the snake closer and closer. Now I'm not listening to John anymore. I'm watching the operator, right? Because the operator's sitting there with his eye glued to the eyepiece, and sweat is rolling down his face. And he's like that. And John kept bringing that snake closer and closer and closer, until pretty soon the snake got bored and just stopped rattling and walked and...
Walked off?
What do they do?
I don't know, slithered off.
Yeah.
But John is that kind of a person. He doesn't care about the dangerous things. Do you have any phobias? Do you have any phobias?
You mean a fear that renders me,
immobile?
I don't think I've run into it yet.
You must have thought about, though, when you were preparing for this part, though, about anything in your fear of heights, maybe, or small spaces.
Well, you know, to whatever extent a role that you play or any artistic venture that you get involved in, to whatever extent it parallels a reality in your life. And a lot of times it helps you to look for that parallel. You know, if you're making a movie about somebody who's about to climb a great mountain and overcome great obstacle. You look at what in your life in that moment you are trying to overcome.
So you can have that same feeling when the time comes.
Exactly, and you can draw those parallels, and pretty much your mind and your subconscious does those parallels by itself. Well, to whatever extent that is true, when I did that film, it was my first feature film after doing Starsky and Hutch.
Right.
And I think to whatever extent I was concerned about failing, that was probably the parallel to which that character in the piece is fair. He's very tenacious, this character that I play. So I guess there was a slight parallel there, and the character has a phobia. I can't say anymore.
The doctor has, but you can't tell us what it is.
It's a suspense, though, and I'm giving it away.
Okay.
For free.
Let me ask you.